Imagine you're standing on a treadmill. You're sweating, your legs are burning, your heart is racing, and somehow you're paying money to do this. But here's something most people don't know. The treadmill wasn't invented to make people healthy. It was invented to punish them. In the early 1800s, prisoners were forced to walk for hours every single day on giant rotating wheels. It was brutal, exhausting, torture disguised as labor. And yet today, millions of people voluntarily climb onto the modern version of that machine. Why? Because deep down, we all know we should exercise. We know movement is good for us. We know sitting all day is damaging our health. We know we'll feel better afterward. And still, most of us don't do it. In fact, nearly 80% of adults fail to meet even the minimum recommended amount of weekly exercise. Think about that. 8 out of 10 people know exactly what they should do and choose not to do it. Why? Are humans simply lazy, weak, undisciplined? Or is something much stranger happening inside the human brain? Because what if laziness isn't a flaw at all? What if it's one of the most successful survival instincts ever created? To understand why you keep procrastinating, why you avoid difficult work, why getting started feels harder than actually doing the task, we need to travel back hundreds of thousands of years, long before offices, before smartphones, before social media, before motivation videos, back to a world where every calorie mattered. Imagine waking up in the Stone Age. There are no grocery stores, no refrigerators, no food delivery apps. Every meal requires effort. You have to hunt, gather, track animals, carry water, build shelter. Survival itself is a full-time job. And in that world, wasting energy could get you killed. Every unnecessary step burned calories. Every wasted movement reduced your chances of surviving the next famine. Your ancestors didn't know when their next meal would come, which meant evolution rewarded one specific type of person, not the hardest worker, not the busiest person, the most efficient one, the person who conserved energy whenever possible, the person who rested when rest was available, the person who didn't waste calories on activities that had no survival benefit. Over thousands of generations, that strategy got passed down again and again until eventually it became you. This is the first thing most people never realize. Your body was never designed to burn energy. It was designed to protect it because energy was life. And nowhere is this more obvious than inside your brain. Your brain makes up only about 2% of your body weight, but it consumes roughly 20% of your daily energy. It's one of the most expensive organs in the human body, like a giant biological power plant running 24 hours a day. And because the brain is so expensive, your body became obsessed with efficiency. Every system evolved around one simple question. Can we save energy here? Can we avoid unnecessary effort? Can we survive while spending less? The answer was almost always yes. And that's why modern life creates such a strange problem. Because your ancient brain is living in a world it was never designed for. For almost all of human history, movement was unavoidable. If you wanted food, you moved. If you wanted water, you moved. If you wanted to survive, you moved. Today, you can order dinner without standing up, work without leaving your chair, watch entertainment for 12 straight hours, and communicate with thousands of people without moving more than your thumbs. Your biology hasn't changed, but your environment has. And that's where the real conflict begins. Because part of your brain is still operating with Stone Age software. It still believes calories are scarce. It still believes effort should be avoided whenever possible. It still sees rest as a reward, even when food is everywhere, even when survival is guaranteed, even when movement is more important than ever. And this creates one of the biggest psychological battles of modern life. The battle between the person you want to be and the person your brain is trying to protect. But this is where the story gets even stranger. Because laziness isn't controlled by willpower. It's controlled by something far more powerful. A chemical system hidden deep inside your brain. And once you understand how that system works, you'll never look at motivation the same way again. So if laziness isn't a character flaw, then what's actually controlling your motivation? The answer begins with a molecule that has quietly shaped almost every human decision throughout history. Dopamine. Most people think dopamine is the chemical of pleasure. It's not. That's one of the biggest myths in psychology. Dopamine is the chemical of pursuit, the chemical of anticipation, the chemical that makes you want something before you get it. And this single misunderstanding changes everything. Because your brain doesn't reward effort. Your brain rewards opportunities. Thousands of years ago, dopamine helped humans chase food, water, shelter, and mates. When our ancestors spotted fruit hanging from a tree, dopamine pushed them to climb. When they saw animal tracks, dopamine pushed them to hunt. When they discovered a new source of resources, dopamine pushed them to explore. Without dopamine, humans would have never survived. But here's where things get strange. Scientists discovered that animals without functioning dopamine systems still enjoy food when it's placed directly in front of them. They can still experience pleasure, but they lose the desire to go get it. In one famous experiment, rats would happily eat food placed beside them, yet they refused to move even a short distance to obtain the exact same food. The pleasure remained, the motivation disappeared, and suddenly, a shocking truth emerged. Dopamine isn't about liking, it's about wanting, which means motivation is not a personality trait. It's a biological process, and that process can be manipulated. Every notification, every social media feed, every short-form video, every endless scroll, all of them are competing for the same dopamine system that once helped your ancestors survive. Your brain evolved to chase rare rewards. Instead, it's now surrounded by unlimited rewards. And that's creating a problem evolution never prepared us for. Because the modern world has become a dopamine amusement park, your ancestors might have experienced a few major dopamine spikes each day: finding food, making a discovery, building relationships, surviving danger. Today, your brain can experience hundreds. Before breakfast, a notification, a text message, a viral video, a meme, a new email, a new like, another scroll, another click, another hit, each one delivering a tiny promise of reward. And your brain keeps chasing. Not because you're weak, because it's doing exactly what it evolved to do. But this creates a dangerous side effect. The more effortless rewards you consume, the harder meaningful effort begins to feel. Because the brain constantly compares rewards. Why spend 3 hours writing a report when your phone can deliver stimulation in 3 seconds? Why read a difficult book when an algorithm can entertain you instantly? Why struggle through discomfort when comfort is available everywhere? And suddenly, something strange happens. The things that matter most begin feeling the hardest to start. Not because they're impossible, because they're competing against rewards that evolution never expected to exist. This is where psychologist Tim Urban introduced a concept that perfectly explains modern procrastination. He called it the instant gratification monkey. Imagine your mind as a ship. The rational decision maker is supposed to be the captain. He's planning for the future, setting goals, building a better life. But sitting beside him is a monkey, a very impatient monkey. And the monkey only cares about one thing: feeling good right now. The monkey doesn't care about deadlines. The monkey doesn't care about your future. The monkey doesn't care about your dreams. The monkey wants comfort, entertainment, pleasure, and the easiest possible path. So every time you sit down to work on something important, the monkey takes control. Suddenly you're checking messages, watching videos, cleaning your room, researching random topics, doing literally anything except the task you intended to do. And here's the terrifying part. Most people spend years believing they're lazy when they're actually trapped in this exact psychological battle. A battle happening entirely beneath conscious awareness. But eventually something arrives. Something the monkey fears more than anything else. The panic monster. The panic monster only appears when a deadline gets close enough. When failure becomes real. When consequences become unavoidable. And that's why so many people complete weeks of work in a single night. It's not motivation, it's survival. The panic monster temporarily scares the monkey away. And the rational decision maker finally regains control. But living this way comes at a cost. Stress, anxiety, burnout, constant guilt. Because while procrastination looks relaxing from the outside, it rarely feels relaxing on the inside. Most people imagine procrastination as leisure, but psychologists describe it very differently. They call it the dark playground. The dark playground is where you go when you should be working but aren't. You're watching videos, scrolling social media, playing games, doing anything except the task waiting for you. And unlike real leisure, there's a catch. You never fully enjoy it because guilt follows you everywhere. The work is still there. The deadline is still approaching. The anxiety never leaves, which means the very thing you hoped would make you feel better often makes you feel worse. And that's when many people start asking the wrong question. They ask, how do I become less lazy? But maybe that's not the real question. Maybe the real question is, why is the modern world making ancient survival instincts work against us? And once we look at the world through that lens, an even bigger mystery begins to appear. To understand why modern humans struggle with motivation, we need to destroy one of the biggest myths about our ancestors. Most people imagine ancient humans as fitness machines, running all day, hunting non-stop, constantly active, always moving. But that's not what the evidence shows. In reality, our ancestors were incredibly strategic with their energy. They moved when movement had a purpose, and rested whenever they could. In fact, if you offered a Stone Age hunter a machine that could wash his clothes, cook his food, deliver his water, and carry him everywhere without effort, he would have called it the greatest invention in human history. Not because humans love exercise, because humans evolved to avoid unnecessary work. And this is where modern fitness culture gets something completely backward. Exercise is not natural, at least not in the way most people think. Think about it. Imagine explaining a treadmill to a hunter-gatherer. You step onto a machine, walk for an hour, go absolutely nowhere, then get off. To an ancient human, that would sound insane. Why waste valuable energy and receive nothing in return? Food doesn't appear. Shelter doesn't improve. No survival benefit exists. Your ancestors moved because movement solved problems. Modern humans exercise because modern life removed the need to move. And that creates one of the strangest paradoxes in human history. For millions of years, movement was unavoidable. Today, movement has become optional. And whenever something becomes optional, your ancient brain starts asking a dangerous question. Can I save energy instead? Most of the time, the answer is yes. That's why elevators beat stairs. That's why remote controls exist. That's why food delivery apps are worth billions of dollars. Every convenience technology follows the exact same formula. Spend less energy, get the same reward. Your brain loves this deal because it's the deal evolution trained it to love. But then, researchers discovered something that shocked even them. Wild chimpanzees often move less than modern sedentary humans. Read that again. The average office worker may actually be more physically active than a wild chimpanzee, which completely destroys the idea that humans were somehow meant to be in constant motion. The truth is far more interesting. Nature doesn't reward activity. Nature rewards efficiency. And efficiency means using the least amount of energy necessary to survive. But this is where the story takes an unexpected turn. Because while your brain wants to conserve energy, It also wants rewards. And modern technology has figured out how to exploit that weakness better than anything in human history. Your phone understands your brain better than you do. Every swipe, every notification, every recommendation, every autoplay video, they're all designed around the same principle. Keep the dopamine flowing. Keep the rewards coming. Keep attention locked. The result is something evolutionary psychologists call an evolutionary mismatch. For almost all of human history, rewards were scarce. Today, rewards are infinite. Food is available 24 hours a day. Entertainment never ends. Information never stops. Comfort is always one click away. Your Stone Age brain entered a world built by software engineers, and it never stood a chance. Imagine releasing a polar bear into the desert. The bear isn't broken. The environment changed. The same thing happened to humans. Your brain evolved for one world, but woke up in another, and that's why so many people feel trapped. They blame themselves. They call themselves lazy, undisciplined, unmotivated. But often, they're fighting biology inside an environment specifically designed to overwhelm it. And nowhere is this more obvious than in one surprisingly simple myth, the famous 10,000 steps rule. Most people assume scientists carefully calculated that number. They didn't. It actually originated from a Japanese marketing campaign in the 1960s. A pedometer company needed a catchy number. 10,000 sounded good, so they used it. And somehow, decades later, millions of people still treat it like a biological law. This doesn't mean walking isn't healthy. It absolutely is. But it reveals something important. Many of the rules we follow aren't nearly as scientific as we assume. And once you realize that, a much bigger question appears. If laziness isn't a flaw, if procrastination isn't simply weakness, if our brains evolved to conserve energy, then maybe we've been blaming ourselves for the wrong problem all along. Maybe the real enemy isn't laziness. Maybe it's misunderstanding human nature. And once researchers started looking at human behavior through that lens, they uncovered something that changes everything. One of the biggest mistakes modern society makes is treating laziness like a moral failure, as if every productive person is virtuous and every unproductive person is broken. But biology doesn't work that way. Your brain isn't trying to ruin your life. It's trying to protect you. The problem is that the world changed faster than evolution could keep up. For hundreds of thousands of years, conserving energy increased your chances of survival. Today, that same instinct often does the opposite. And nowhere is this more obvious than in the way we think about sitting. You've probably heard the phrase, "Sitting is the new smoking." It's repeated everywhere, but reality is more complicated. Researchers studying hunter-gatherer societies discovered something surprising. Many of them sit for long periods too, sometimes close to the same amount of time as modern humans. The difference isn't how long they sit, it's how they sit. Modern chairs do almost everything for your body. They support your back, reduce muscle activity, allow your body to completely relax. Hunter-gatherers often sit in squatting positions, kneeling positions, or active postures that constantly engage muscles. Their bodies remain subtly active even while resting. In other words, the human body wasn't designed to avoid rest. It was designed to avoid unnecessary inactivity. And that's a very different thing. Because the real lesson isn't that humans are lazy. The real lesson is that humans are efficient. Sometimes incredibly efficient. So efficient that we can accidentally optimize ourselves into unhealthy lifestyles. The same brain that once helped us survive now has access to unlimited food, unlimited entertainment, and unlimited comfort. And every day, it quietly chooses the path that once made perfect evolutionary sense. But here's the good news. Understanding the system gives you power over the system. Because once you realize what's happening, you stop taking it personally. You stop calling yourself lazy. You stop believing you're broken. You stop waiting for motivation to magically appear, and instead, you begin designing your environment differently. You make good habits easier. You make bad habits harder. You remove friction from the things that matter and add friction to the things that distract you. Because discipline isn't about fighting human nature. It's about working with it. The most successful people aren't the ones who defeated their biology. They're the ones who understood it. And that brings us to one final thought. Imagine your entire life laid out on a single page. Not in years, not in decades, in weeks. If you live to be 100 years old, you get roughly 5,200 weeks. That's it. Just 5,200 small boxes. And by the time most people watch a video like this, more than 1,000 of those boxes are already gone. Some people have used half of them. Some have used even more. And suddenly, the question changes. The question is no longer, why am I lazy? The real question becomes, what am I doing with the weeks I have left? Because your instincts will always tell you to conserve energy. Your phone will always offer another distraction. Your brain will always prefer comfort over discomfort. That's normal. That's human. But the future belongs to the people who can occasionally override those instincts. The people who can choose a meaningful struggle over easy comfort. The people who understand that growth has never been humanity's default setting. It's always been a conscious choice. So the next time you catch yourself procrastinating, the next time you feel guilty for lacking motivation, remember this. You are not fighting weakness. You are fighting hundreds of thousands of years of evolution. And the fact that you're aware of it already puts you ahead of most people. Your brain was built for survival, but your life can be built for something more. The choice is yours. And if you enjoyed this journey into the hidden psychology of human behavior, subscribe to Body Loop Official